When you're in an area that has both a rail trail and a downtown area, you can walk it, but what fun is that? So I'm going to use what I'm calling the monster truck of scooters. To learn more about the Hiboy Titan Pro and to see how fun it is to ride, all you need to do is continue watching. Before we ride downtown and the rail trail, let's find out what the Hiboy Titan Pro actually has to offer. Now I am calling this the monster truck of scooters for good reason, because not only the weight of it, but also the length and width of it. It's a big, monstrous scooter, which does come with some pros and cons, which we will talk about. But for starters, located in the deck is a 48 volt, 36 amp hour battery, which powers not one, but two 750 watt hub motors with a combined peak total output of 2400 watts. This does weigh in at 103 pounds, which is a bit heavier than most average scooters, but it has a big payload capacity of 330 pounds. The deck itself can literally hold someone like the size of Bigfoot because it's 24 inches long by 10 inches wide. I'm a size 13. I have plenty of room on here for lots of activities while riding this scooter. As far as comfort goes, this rides on 10-inch gel-filled all-terrain tires, which is good for road and off-road. You do have front and rear fenders to keep any mud off you, and also for comfort as well is front and rear dual suspension. But there are a few more things I want to show you, so come on over. Now the way this scooter came to me and the way you see it is the way it would come to you, including the Highboy phone mount. So you'll be able to mount your phone while you are riding. The only thing I added on here is just this charging cable, because it does have a built-in USB-C charging port located directly beneath the screen, so you can charge your phone while you're riding. Absolutely love seeing that. Now for the remainder of the cockpit, let's start on the right hand side. We have rubber grips, which do feel quite nice. For throttle, it is a half twist throttle or quarter twist, however you want to see it or say it. I'm not a huge fan of those, as you already know. I would much rather prefer to see a thumb throttle on here, but you can maybe modify that on your own. We do have front and rear hydraulic disc brakes for stopping power, which do work really well. And we have a 5-button control module here. So we have plus and minus for your power assist, M for mode, your power, and I for info. Right here is your display. And over here we have 2 buttons, your horn and single and dual motor. So you could switch on the fly while you're riding from single and dual motor use. Power it on. All we're gonna do is long press the power button, and hopefully you can see it, but even in bright daylight, that screen is really visible. So battery power up there, it says ready, miles per hour, speed power, odometer, and it has power assist. Right now when you power it up, or when it sits idle for roughly 30 seconds, it does go into a park mode, which won't allow you to change power assist or have any power. In order to unlock it, all you do is squeeze the right brake lever and hit the M button at the same time, and it will unlock it. And then you can change it to whatever you want. Now when you do hit the single and dual motor use, you do have icons on here. So you will see a secondary icon appear right there. And single motor, it goes away. So it has rear for dedicated, and then a front icon for dual front and rear. And for the horn, it is extremely loud. I believe the horn sounds come out of the back of the lights here. So it's ear piercing to say the least. But once you are in your, see, it goes right back to park mode. Once you are in your power assist though, 1 is the least amount of power and 3 is your maximum amount of power. So it's only 3 power assist levels. Right here though is something to keep in mind. This is your locking pin for when you fold the handlebars down. So when it folds down, you're gonna latch it like that, and it's gonna get locked into that little hole right there, which will allow you to have the handlebar in place in order to pick it up. And when it's folded down, you want to release it, you slide it down, and the handlebars will rise up. Coming around to the front, pretty good cable management here. It's a nice clean look. And right here is not 1, but 2 dual headlights. Not only do these rings illuminate, but you have projector headlights as well, which are adjustable as well. So you could control where you want the beam to show higher or lower. Down here is your release mechanism for unlatching the stem. All you do is unscrew it and the clamp will come out, and then you just reverse it to lock the stem back in place when you're ready to ride. As mentioned, all-terrain tires, so it's going to be good for multi-surfaces. Your suspension right there. Gel-filled tires, so you don't have to worry about a pinch flat with a tube, so you're going to have some more added peace of mind when you are riding. And on the side of the deck here, when you do turn the headlights on, these do illuminate blue. So when the headlights are on, that comes on automatically for some side exterior illumination, but also looks quite nice in lower light conditions. And on the back behind your kick plate is both your tail light and brake light, so that does illuminate as well when the lights are on or when you're braking. For charging your battery, your charging port's right here on the front of the deck. All you do is lift up that rubber flap and plug in your charger. Two important questions you probably want to have answers to. First off is, how fast does it go? It does go a top speed of 33 miles per hour. We're not going to do that today because we're not in the right environment to do so, but I can confirm in dual motor use, it will indeed hit 33 miles an hour. And how far of a range can you get? Well, that is debatable depending on how you're riding it and who's riding it. They advertise an estimated range of 80 miles, but that's going to be on single motor use with a lighter weight rider on mostly level terrain. For someone my size, 5'11", 240, riding with dual motor on varied terrain, probably looking closer to 50, 55 miles, but the results may vary for you. With that being said, I think we should gear up, do some riding. We're going to start off with a hill climb over here on a grassy incline. We're then going to go into the downtown area, see how it navigates city environment, also conquer another hill or two, and then we'll hit the rail trail, see how it does on some off-road material. So we're going to do our first hill climbing test right here, this grass embankment. I'm going to come up at an angle towards you guys. I'm going to have it in dual motor, Power Assist 3, which is the max power, will give us up to 2,400 watts of peak power. But I'm about 50-50 if it's going to make it, because this is a pretty heavy scooter. It is only a 48 volt battery system, and the peak output is not tremendous. But if it doesn't make it, I think it's going to be understandable. Here we go. I have to unlock it first. There we go. Okay, got a little spin there. Okay, we're not flying, but it is climbing it. 7 miles an hour, 6, 7, 8, okay, we made it. Surprisingly, it did make it. It didn't fly up it, but it did make it. We're only creeping at 6, 7 miles an hour, but again, I was not even expecting it to make it. With this though, for a really steep hill, momentum is going to be your friend. But now let's take it to the city and see how it does on city streets and some city hills. My plan is to ride it in dual motor use. That's what most people will be riding it in. Since we are going to have varied terrain and environment of hills and flats and dirt, dual motor would make the most sense. But at any given moment, if we want to go to single motor, we know it's just a single press of a button. We are going to start off with another hill climb here. So it's Market Street, and I have it in Power Assist 3 dual motor, and it's a fairly steep grade. We are going up at 14 miles an hour. A couple little plateaus, but this is a pretty steady grade that goes for a few hundred yards, so it is putting it to its max. And just keep in mind too, someone lighter than me would have better performance uphill than I would. Someone heavier than me, the performance will be decreased. But regardless, it is making it. But I do want to show you, if I switch to single motor, yeah, there's hardly any power. We are now down to 7 miles an hour. And if I wasn't already moving, I think we probably would come to a dead stop. So single motor use, not the way to go for hills or speed, without a doubt. Towards the end, I'm going to share with you my likes and dislikes, and there's one flaw that I've encountered within this first few moments of test riding, something I didn't consider that happened to me that may affect safety and rideability, and I'm not sure if it could be adjusted or tweaked, but it can be a problem, especially in city environments. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Braking downhill, the brakes feel great. I mean, I could come to a full complete stop partway down the hill, so I feel like I have great control over my stopping power. Now, city environments, downtowns, rules do vary. Some allow you to ride on the sidewalk, some don't. Some haven't specified. I ride where I feel it's safest without causing any issues for anyone else. So if there's a lot of traffic, I'll go on the sidewalk. If there's a lot of people, I'll go on the road or a side road. But I don't try to impede traffic or pedestrians. They always have the right of way. But if I'm gonna ride like this, I'm gonna ride nice and slow. This is where single motor use would be beneficial. Just keep it a nice, slow, comfortable speed. Not doing anything crazy or outrageous. But regardless of where you ride, scooters are still an extremely popular choice of transportation for multiple uses and reasons and locations. For example, I was down in Tennessee recently, and in the Pigeon Forge area, scooters are allowed. I rode up and down the whole parkway there, doing a tour of the strip, riding several miles on the big flat sidewalks, and I was able to avoid tons of traffic. And they're really popular down there for people basically going to work, to just do some sightseeing. So places like that, tourist places where scooters are allowed, are a great benefit to have them there. I also know a lot of campgrounds and even events like car shows or car racing. People bring scooters to navigate the property much more efficiently. So there is definitely places that these are not only allowed, but probably preferred and recommended to avoid tons of walking. And they're small enough you could throw them in the back of your vehicle. You don't need a trailer or a truck. So a lot of pluses to it as well. And even here in Pennsylvania, whenever I go out, especially in the downtown areas, any city I go to, there's people riding scooters. So they are affordable, they're efficient, you don't have to pay for gas, you are avoiding traffic. So regardless of your reason for wanting to have a scooter, whether it's for adventure or transportation or a combination of both, definitely something to consider rather than a big bulky e-bike. Right now I'm just in single motor use, Power Assist 2. I've looked down too. Look at all the room for my feet. I mean, I can put my feet any position I want. Like I said, a lot of room for activities. Even Bigfoot himself could ride the scooter. Huge deck, monstrous deck, big, bulky, heavier scooter, but with that comes stability. It doesn't feel like it's gonna basically break over like a bad bounce or a pothole, and it also feels solid, especially at higher speeds. It doesn't feel like it's gonna be anything that's gonna be questionable when approaching 30, 33 miles an hour. Some of these sidewalks are bumpy, and suspension helping greatly absorb those bounces. So I'm not feeling like my teeth are gonna chatter and I'm getting my brain all scrambled about. So nice, comfy, cushy ride. Not only with the 10-inch gel-filled tires, but the front and rear suspension. It is a nice, comfortable ride. Downtown area is nice, but let's hit the rail trail. Now down here on the rail trail, we have a great environment for these tires. There's a mixed terrain here because we have patches of grass, some stone, some sand, some fine crushed gravel, and it's not, you know, perfectly manicured, but it is a nice rideable trail. So, okay, you know what? Before I forget about it, let me talk about it right now. When I was at the red light, when we did the hill climb up in the downtown area, this is kicking into parking mode for me too soon, quicker than it should be, because when I was waiting at the red light, it kicked into parking mode. I didn't realize it. So when the light turned green, I'm giving it throttle. It's not going anywhere. I look down, I'm like, oh. So I had to wave traffic around me and unlock it and able to go. I understand why it's there, especially when you first power on the scooter. But if you're in a city environment, especially if you're riding in traffic, it could be a safety issue because people behind you are expecting you to go and you're at a stop because you're in parking mode. So that is a bit of a complaint for me. I'm not a big fan of that, kicking on so frequently or so shortly when you come to a stop. So if the company does let me know if there's a way to turn that off or to adjust the length or duration of it, I will update it in the description. But right now, we're gonna go in single motor. I'm gonna go Power Assist 1 just to show you what it does. I mean, it's really slow, gradual power. I mean, it's, you know, it's going. It's not gonna be something that can't pull you, but it's not gonna be throwing you back feeling like Superman. You know, we're cruising at 13 miles an hour. Kick up to Power Assist 2, single motor. Okay, we're getting up to about 18 maybe. maybe 20. Okay, 19. And power assist 3, single motor. Not a whole lot more. Maybe 22, 23. Yeah, so single motor, it's going to give you the most battery life, the most range, but the least amount of power. And if you're going to be in a hilly environment or you're a heavier rider, you're probably not going to use single motor all that much. So I'm going to kick it back into dual motor, which I love. Single button press. I have the confirmation on the screen. I'm going to kick it down to power assist 1 now, and we should be able to cruise here nice and comfortably. And this is rattling. I took my phone out just because it was bouncing around. So you will hear that, but that's the only thing making noise is the phone mounts. Actually, let me remove that. We'll eliminate that altogether. Okay, that's better. So whether you're in grass or on the dirt or on some stones, the tires are capable of handling it. You got a decent clearance and a nice, comfortable, cushy ride with that full suspension. So power assist 1, dual motor, cruising at 13 miles an hour. We'll kick it up to 2. 2 is what I find myself using the most. It's kind of the happy medium for nearly everything. I only kick it up to 3 if I need to reach top speeds or climb a really steep hill. But 2, you're at least getting a decent amount of power and not wiping out the battery so quickly. Even like crouching down here, I mean, it's nice and stable. Big deck though, plenty of room. You can almost put like a folding chair on this deck if you wanted to, or a stool. It's that big. Biggest deck I've ever ridden on a scooter. Hey, this is honestly a great trail runner. Environments like this, it feels comfortable right at home. And that display, I could see both in shade and sun. Nice, bright, vibrant display has everything I need to see on there. By far, the loudest horn I've ever had on an e-product. That thing is screechingly loud. You know, there's something I thought of when I was riding this today. Now, Highboy is a company that's not a stranger to me or my channel. I've worked with them several times on different products. But Highboy is the company that got me into the e-powered world because I bought my first electric scooter from Highboy. I bought the S2 Pro, and I bought that based on the recommendation from Adam the Woo. He owned that same scooter. He used to zip around different areas. It's a nice little lightweight compact scooter. I bought one, I liked it, bought a second one so me and my daughter could ride, and I made a review video, sent it to Highboy and said, hey, I like your product. I made a video of it, check it out, and if you like what you see, would love to work with you on other products. And since then, we have worked together several times on scooters and e-bikes. So Highboy has been around for a while, reputable company, make a great product, and the products seem to be getting better and better. But this product, like anything else, is not perfect. There are a few flaws or dislikes that do stand out to me, which I feel you should be made aware of. Firstly, we already talked about the parking mode feature. It is a good feature for when you first power on the scooter, because if someone was to walk up to your scooter, power it on, they can't just hop on and go. They need to know how to unlock it with the lever and the mode button. But it is problematic though when you are in a city environment doing a lot of stopping and going, especially at a stop sign or a red light. Anything more than 20-30 seconds, it goes into park mode. And if you're not paying attention to that or looking at your screen, well, you could have possibly a line of cars behind you laying on the horn because you're not moving. So I'd like to see that option be able to be turned off or extend it maybe over a minute. But it is something to keep in mind for city environments. If now you're doing some rail trails or cruising down, the Parkway in Tennessee or any place else, it won't really be much of a factor, but I can see where it could be problematic in an environment like that. The other thing I'd like to see is some more added security beyond just the parking feature. I feel this should have a physical key ignition or an NFC card. That way someone can't just walk over and power it on. They need the key or the card to power it on. So that going hand in hand with the parking feature would be great security, but right now it is kind of open to people coming up and just powering it on, maybe getting lucky hitting the right combination of buttons and levers and riding off on it. For the pros, there is plenty, but there's a few that do stand out to me. Number one, obviously, is the USB-C charging port. Being able to charge your phone or device while you're riding is fantastic. I think all e-products should have one. The other thing is the dedicated single dual motor button. Being able to disengage or engage your second motor while you're riding at any given time is great. Really like that. Lastly, this is a pro and con, a like or a dislike. It is a big, heavy, solid scooter. That may not be good for all people, because if you are someone who has trouble lifting heavy items, you're not going to want to pick up 103 pounds and put it in your vehicle. If you are on the smaller side too, this may be too much for you as far as overall size and length and weight. But on the flip side, if you are a larger individual, if you have really big feet, if you do want to have plenty of room on the platform and the deck, and you want to feel stable and solid as you're traveling in any environment, whether it's the city or a rail trail, this is going to give it to you. This is a super comfortable ride, really fun to ride, great loud horn. Tires did well on both pavement, concrete, and the rail trail mixed surface area, so the tires work really well with this. Lastly, it has a great lighting system. You got the brake light, tail light, the side running deck lights, and nice big bright headlights. And one place I could see this being really useful to ride, beyond the other places I mentioned earlier, is the abandoned turnpike tunnels. I made a few videos there. That's a 13-mile stretch of road that's abandoned with 2 tunnels which are pitch black on the inside. And it takes a long time to walk 13 miles. Even to pedal it on a bike, it's a heck of a workout. But I brought my e-bikes there with friends, and you can bring things like this there, cover all 13 miles, have lighting for those dark tunnels, and be able to explore an awesome area in a comfortable, fun way. So that's just something else that popped into mind that this would be great for, as well as other places I did mention and gave suggestions on. Big thanks to Highboy for reaching out to me and allowing me to share the Hiboy Titan Pro with all of you. Hopefully you know by now if this scooter is indeed the right one for you. And if you do want more details and latest pricing, check the provided link down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching, safe riding, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.